Guys, this is Notice, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about a potential project that I haven't seen too many people talk about, but I see huge amount of potential, especially coming up in Q1 of 2023. If you want to find out what project I'm talking about, stay tuned. We're going to dive straight into it. I'm sure most of you have heard of the Proof Group. Sure, most of you have heard of Moonbirds, and I'm sure majority of you probably have heard of Moonbirds Oddities. But I haven't seen too much talk about this collection recently, and it's kind of surprising, especially when most of their big launches with this collection is coming around Q1 of 2023. This collection was launched around May of 2022, around 6 months ago, I believe. It was an airdrop to Moonbirds holders, and we're kind of just going to dive into the details and why I see this collection being a decent entry here and why I can see it being profitable in the next couple of months. And I'm going to talk about my strategy. So if we take a look at volume here, it's pretty consistent. I would say there's probably ranging from 15 to 30 buys a day. Recently, volume has been a little slower, of course, because the majority of the NFT crypto market has slowed down drastically with what has happened with FTX, but they're holding up very well. The majority of collections have been on a downtrend, a very heavy downtrend, showing no signs of major buying pressure or support. But Moonbirds Oddities has shown that. And I think one of the reasons is because of the upcoming events they have. So we're going to go ahead and talk about what they have coming up. So if we take a look on their Twitter, there isn't too much talk about the drop currently that's coming up in Q1 of 2023. It was teased and talked about early August or late August, I can't remember, sometime in August, and we can see that by the chart. We can see they kind of talk about more of the utility here. That's why we had this pump here, and now we've kind of been bouncing on this 1 ETH range, which has acted as a pretty solid entry. You could have entered 1 ETH here, probably sold for 1.3, 1.2, entered at 0.95, 1 ETH, sold at 1.3, 1.4, same here, 1 ETH. You can get the gist of it there. Right now we're at 1 ETH. I've talked about this multiple times at 1 ETH. Talked about getting an entry. If you can get an entry under 1 ETH before all this drop stuff happens, I think that's a fantastic entry in my opinion. It's not financial advice, of course, but in my opinion, I would personally enter here if I was trading and looking to buy in. So to talk about the drop, I found this thread, and I want to shout out OX Mackie, as it saves me a bunch of time not to type all this up. I'm going to kind of go in detail of all the information here and what it means and why I think this is a decent entry into the Moonbirds ecosystem. So let's dive into the actual oddities and what the oddities mean to the upcoming Mythics drop. When it comes to Moonbirds, you can currently stake or nest your Moonbird, and that will give you an opportunity to be able to mint part of the Mythics collection. I believe it was mentioned in here that it's not a guaranteed. You have a certain percent chance. Nested Moonbirds get a chance every single day to be able to mint the upcoming Mythics collection. So the supply is 20,000, which honestly isn't too bad with the Moonbirds ecosystem and what the team behind it and what they're working on. The market conditions right now, it's kind of iffy with it, but you know, it could change leading up to this drop. So when it comes down to Moonbird Oddities, you're actually going to be able to burn your oddity to receive the mythic. The mythic will just burn your oddity, and you'll get a go at getting the mythic. And the nested Moonbird, which we already talked about before, will have a chance. It's not guaranteed. We'll have a chance every day to get a mythic. So I don't think it was mentioned here for oddities, but only 25 Moonbirds that are staked or nested will be able to get airdropped per day. So it's not guaranteed. It'll be just randomly 25 Moonbirds that are staked or nested will receive an airdrop of the Mythics collection. When it comes to oddities, I believe only 25 to 30 can be burned per day to get a mythic drop. And you can expect the floor price of mythics to be pretty high starting out, as it won't be, the supply will be pretty low, and as more oddities get burned and more get airdropped, you can expect the Mythics floor price to lower, most likely, unless they announce other major utilities or other things about the collection. You can expect it to drop, but you can expect oddities to maybe increase as more get burned, and if people actually want to burn them. So that's all the talk about oddities, how it works. Only 25 per day can get burned, and the airdrop will happen to nested Moonbirds. So now we're going to take a look at the chart standpoint of this and the potential I think that's here, potential exit that might be there, how long you should hold for, kind of just my opinion on all of this. So I've talked about this before, talked about it on my server, talked about it in Magma as well. Near or under 1 ETH seems like a pretty good entry before the drop, before all this hype starts to ramp up again, because I would expect the hype, the volume to increase as we get close to the drop, as we get more details, as things start to ramp up. Right now, the market's slow. Not many people are talking about the drop. We can expect this most likely to have another leg up. We actually have seen 0.95, 0.9 sales recently if you threw out offers. I think this is very doable. I like this as an entry, and as an exit, I think we can get somewhere between 1.4, 1.5 plus as an exit here, leading up to this drop, which is a pretty nice gain. We could even see a 2-3x off of this, back up to 2 to 3 ETH, depending on the hype behind it. We already have the team, the community, the utility. It's all there. The whales are there. People know the project. It's one of the most well-known projects in the space. It's arguably considered a blue chip, one that will be around in the space. So the potential is there. No one's really talking about this collection right now. That's why I like it as an entry near or under 1 ETH. It's just a great entry in my opinion. I see it performing well. When it comes to hold time, I'm looking at this, of course, as mid to long term. This would be, 2, 3, 4 plus months for me. Usually I like to get in early and then out before all the utility and all that drops. I like to sell into the hype, of course, to take profits as a trader. But as a holder and someone that actually wants to hold this for maybe utility for the community, I don't see this as a bad hold, really, especially at a 1 ETH range floor price. They've been holding up so well, especially during this market. I think 1 ETH range is a pretty solid position to enter, to flip, and to also hold. As I always say, I think the main goal with trading NFTs is getting the safest and earliest entry possible. If you can't get the earliest entry, it's best to, try to get the safest entry. So if it comes to the worst, you'll at least be able to break even. And I think that 1 ETH zone, 0.9 to 1 ETH zone is a pretty safe entry. And at worst, hopefully you'll be able to just break even. And at best, I think there's a good chance to be profit made. I don't expect too much information to be dropped in the short term about this collection. Make sure to always look on Blur as well. Blur is a very good tool to find cheaper entries, as people, like to undercut each other with zero royalties on here. So be sure to check out Blur, have their Twitter, have their Discord open. Another good tip, always look, if you're curious about a project, look up the project's name, look up a thread after that. A bunch of people make threads on projects. I do as well if you want to give me a follow at the Only Notice. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a like, comment down below, and subscribe. Be sure to share with your friends. I will see you guys in the next video. Keep being you. Keep being awesome. Peace.